Welcome everyone to round 6 of the Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series presented by Bigpond Sport, Extreme Sim Gear and Direct Clutch Services. Jay Kennedy in the host chair for round 6 at Oulton Park. And alongside me I've got Jason Bean. G'day mate.
G'day Jay, great to be back mate. Fantastic being here in Cheshire, in England of course for this round.
And also the most excited man in the commentary box, Sandman. Keep it together, mate. Hold on. You haven't gone green yet.
Oh, I can't wait, buddy. I love it when we throw in pit stops. It really separates the men from the boys, and a little bit of strategy and everything else really mixes things up. So can't wait for this to get underway.
It's going to be a fantastic race tonight. We've got a full grid of 25 drivers. We've got a few international guys in the mix. Pit strategy. Going to be a very, very good race tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's certainly going to put the boys through their paces tonight. 30 laps around here at Oulton Park, and we've already seen, a number of the guys that we've seen predominantly this series, back further in the field, in the top 10, but sort of the guys that are running in, Ps 6 through 9, 10. They've stepped up their game this week, and they're up towards the front.
We'll quickly run through the grid before we get this race underway, only a minute away from the start of the race. Madison Down will start from pole with a world record time of 1:36.337. Then it's Richard Hampstead in second position, Renz Brookman, Vale Riches, Brad Ryan, John Emerson, John Kelly, Mitch McLeod, Sam Collins, Corey Slade, Cal Watmore, Rob Hartley, Michael Fabian, Mitch Abril, Wayne Tolley, Simon Black, Richard Samanovic, Chris Osborne, Marlon McMullins, Clayton Brooks, Carwin May, Dave Hingston, Justin Bright, Raphael. I can never pronounce Raphael's surname. I'll learn it eventually. And Oleski Aloma, 25th. Out of our 25 drivers, full grid for round 6 at Oulton Park.
Definitely in for a ripper of a race. We said Madison Down putting down a new world record time for this circuit. And tell you what, if I was a betting man, I would have lost a bit of money by now, because I wouldn't have bet at this point of the season that Madison Down wouldn't have chalked up a win by now.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I wouldn't have picked it at all. He's definitely had a bit of trouble this season.
He's certainly redeemed himself here this week, though. I mean, to go out and run that world record time is phenomenal. And we spoke a little earlier, guys, with the earlier broadcast that, tonight he is going to have to try and get away on a really good start to try and put some distance between he and both Hampstead and Renz Brookman, who are both ahead of him in the championship at this stage.
It's time to get it underway. Tips, guys? Sandman?
Oh, geez, Madison's quick, but Hampstead was really quick in that earlier race. Let's just say Hampstead.
I'm going to say I'm going to try and I'd like to see Emerson get a win. Hopefully tonight will be his first.
Yeah, I'd like to see Emerson get a win too, but I can't see Richard Hampstead losing this race, honestly. He's just been too quick race pace. So Madison also starting on the outside is actually a little bit tougher at this track. It's a little bit off camber as well. Almost time to get it underway though.
30 laps, 129 Ks of racing we're about to go with. Big field of drives, boys. Big field. Great to see so many guys. Of course, Matty Barron joining us as well.
Good start.
Oh, problem towards the back.
Watmore hasn't moved. Watmore hasn't moved off the line, but they've all got a way okay. Down's going to take the lead coming into turn 2 from Hampstead and Brookman. Riches and Brad Ryan, a great start. He'll gain a couple of positions. We're through fairly cleanly.
Hampstead, he stuck right to the back of Madison Down, and of course Renz Brookman, and as you said, Ryan getting up there, and a couple more of the TTL cars.
Oh, we've got Blade into the back of Kelly coming around the hairpin, so there's a little bit of a hurry up already.
This chicane is certainly going to be a telltale. Of course, those those tyre bundles do a lot of damage if you clean them up.
Yeah, they have to clip them as well to get massive steering damage, so we're trying to avoid them as much as they can. But nice and clean. The front three guys are already pulling a little bit of a gap.
It's interesting to say what we were speaking to Down earlier, who was saying how crucial it is the first couple of laps on these brand new tyres. You know, you can find yourself after the first 5 laps, you know, dropping off a couple of seconds, you know. So these guys really making the most of these fresh tyres, and like you said, the front couple are really starting to gap the rest of the field.
Don't discount Brad Ryan from this as well. In 4th position, he won a race last night. Very, very good pit strategy from those guys, so keep your eye on him for this race. 1 lap down, 29 to go. Down leading from Hampstead and Brookman.
You take your head off the field. The guys have done a great start. Nice, clean opening lap. These guys know that 30 laps around here, they're going to really have their work cut out for them. And, you know, even if you have a bit of a bad start, not all is lost, because we've got pit stops this round, and that really mixes things up as the race wears on.
Yeah, a lot of strategies too in this race. Sorry, go Jace.
No, I was just about to say, Sam, and you know, the strategy-wise, you know, we saw, you know, guys going early in that first race tonight, and then we saw, of course, the John Emerson pit stop, which saw him go right towards the end of the race. And again, we touched on the fact that it worked for him. He was able to, you know, close in, you know, 3 or 4 positions in those dying, well, 3 positions in those dying laps.
Yeah, pit windows anywhere from lap 7 or 8, depending on how you can stretch your fuel, right out to lap 21 or 22, where you can splash and dash and make it home. So we'll see guys, a lot of guys use more towards the early strategy, but I think the late strategy might come into play. As I mentioned earlier, Renz Brookman, one of the smartest, most intelligent guys in regards to analysing a race during the race. His brain will be in overdrive. He'll have his pen and paper working out in his head what's going on.
Currently sitting in 3rd is Brookman, and starting to close the gap on the back of Hampstead. But Hampstead has not moved from the back of Down. He is stuck to him like super glue. I was going to use another analogy then, boys, but I failed on that one.
Yeah, Robert Hartley, we mentioned earlier in qualifying, doing a great job this week, giving Sam Collins a little bit of pressure. Collins has dropped a little bit of off the pace from the drivers ahead. Just ahead McLeod and Kelly having a good battle as well, with Slade just tagging onto the back of those guys.
Again, guys, like we've seen so many times throughout this first 5 rounds, great battles right from the front all the way back through the pack.
The old 25 drivers are in a bit of a battle at the moment.
See, boys, one thing I was noticed at the front, Madison Down just slowly starting to open up that gap over Hampstead. It's not the end of the day, though, because obviously these guys are in different rhythms. They know what their car's going through, as far as, you know, some guys set up a car where it's good early, or sometimes the guys will really work on a strong setup on old tyres. So although Madison's doing a bit of a run at the moment, I don't think it's going to bother Hampstead too much, because there's so much to play out in this race.
It's not going to take much to lose all of that time. Quite easy to miss your pit stop by, you know, half a metre and have to back it up a tiny little bit, or, you know, anything like that can cost 1, 2, 3 seconds, and that's all that's going to separate those front 3 guys coming into and out of the pit stops. Corey Slade giving Sean Kelly a little bit of a pressure coming into the final corner.
So let's ride on board now with Corey Slade, sitting 9th currently, 7 seconds back from Richard Hampstead, I beg your pardon, from Madison Down, our race leader.
Geez, I love these onboard shots. It really does give everyone at home that Corey, a big mummy, he's off on the grass. He's going to have trouble pulling it up here. He needs to get away from that wall. There's a tyre wall at the end. Does a good job, and now he's got to rejoin without collecting any cars, but great job. Looks like someone's run a little bit wide, just trying to miss Corey, but wow, that could have been huge.
And behind him now, Hartley and Collins are now side by side coming into the chicane.
To hold your breath stuff there. You don't want to go too wide through there. You've got to miss the tyre bundles and everything. So great driving there.
It's hold your breath stuff at the best of times, boys, coming into those chicanes, but when there's three of you trying to battle it out. Now, we know that Collins and Hartley have had a really good battle together, and with Corey rejoining where he did, was probably not the most opportunistic for the boys, but he's been able to get back out, to pick up those two positions again, and of course now Samuel Collins and Robert Hartley will go back to their battle.
And Mitchell Aberill's also joined onto the back of that as teammates Richards, John Emerson working together a little bit. A little bit of this tandem we see in qualifying. These two guys worked together in the earlier race tonight to save Emerson a tiny little bit of fuel.
Just to tell you, I just want a quick look up front. Richard Hampstead having a bit of trouble just getting out of that first turn. I think he might be a little bit concerned that Down's opening that gap, but it's early days like we've been talking about, but just a little bit loose on exit coming out of turn one there for Hampstead.
Brad Ryan also doing a great job to hold on to these three guys. These three out front definitely been the form drivers this week in regards to qualifying pace. So Ryan doing a really good job at the moment in fourth position.
Ryan doing a good job, but Madison Down certainly doing a great job up front. He's put 8/10 between he and Hampstead already, and we're only into lap 5.
Now here comes Kelly having a look at McLeod. Couldn't quite get the drive out of the chicane. McLeod will hold the position, but Kelly's definitely looking to get this move done on McLeod.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit in qualifying where it's not probably one of the easiest places to make moves on. You know, this track isn't known for high passing, but there are a couple of good spots like we saw coming into that chicane if you can get alongside. But you really do have to be careful where you make your move around this track.
Yep, coming up to probably the main spot where you can get a pass done. The final corner, we've seen a lot of passes. Actually saw a championship pass a couple of seasons ago here at this corner.
Again, putting the power to the ground through there is the absolute secret, isn't it? Maintaining that corner speed and also obviously being able to get the drive. So Michael Fabian and Mitchell Abraham, they're having a great battle.
Yeah, Mitch, long-time driver in this series, he's just starting to find his feet again after being away for a little while. So he's doing a pretty good job, fairly consistently in the top race now every week.
Touching on that a little bit too, we spoke to Down a couple of, I think it was last week, where he said, it's not as easy for these guys to just jump straight back in the seat after you've had a couple of weeks out. So if you're out of the main game for a little while, you don't just jump straight back into where you used to be, whether you're running up front, because Down was proof of that. He said that it found him, a couple of weeks just to get back into a bit of a rhythm.
Oh, Sean Kelly's massive moment as he's coming out of the chicane to try and pass Mitch McLeod. It's 2 laps in a row, he struggled out of exit. Almost put it into the fence in the V8 Supercar fan group. Balkan.
Got to say, boys, this pack from 9 back to 16, from Corey Slade right back to Christopher Osborne, is a great battle pack as we have a quick look at a replay. But yeah, great, only 3 seconds separating really from P9 through to 16.
Yeah, so it's Slade, Hartley, Collins, Abrill, Fabian, Black, Tolley, Osborne and McMullen also getting on the back of the pack as well. Oh, it's right on you, Chris Osborne into the fence.
Osborne into the fence a couple of times.
That's put massive damage to his car. And,
I wouldn't be surprised if that was game over.
Yeah, I think that's the end of his race. He's got really bad crabbing. Hits the lane, that'll be the end of his race.
I'll just go back and have a quick look at that. That was very nasty.
Yeah, hard hit. That looks like a rear watch linkage or something like that, the way that thing's moving around, but
and
unfortunate.
Steering arm as well.
Just checking out this margin with Madison Down. We spoke about, Jason, you just said not long ago it was 0.8 of a second. That margin's now 1.1 seconds. So Madison's doing the job at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look at the gap back from, Madison, 1.1, then Hampstead to Brookman, That's 2.05 seconds back to Madison down to Brookman as well. So, 0.9 of a second. They've got their own little deal going on, these guys, but Madison down certainly convincingly out in front at this stage.
And Brad Ryan's closed right up onto the back of Brookman. He's dropped a little bit after the chicanes, but he was right up in there. Now, Sam, don't get too excited. It's almost time for the pit window to open. So
yeah.
Get your pen and paper ready to write down everything so you know what's going on. Now, these guys on screen, they're just not giving up. Sorry, the front runners now in the lane. Brookman and Hampstead in early. We're only 7 laps in.
Wow, that's interesting. I really wasn't expecting these guys to hit pit lane so early. This is a 30-lap race, and these guys are coming in at lap 8. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out towards the end of the race.
The different strategy that they're going to have to run. They know that you can't pass Madison easily just out on the track. They have to do it in the lane. So going to be interesting to see where they come out and when Madison retaliates and comes into the lane as well.
Well, just check back in the pack here. P10 and 11 still having a great battle. Robert Hartley and Samuel Collins again still being menaced by Mitch Abraham, Michael Fabian, Simon Black, Wayne Tolley. They're all there. They're all pressuring.
Yeah, Renz and Richard have actually come out into some fresh air. So the early race, Brookman was there first to pit, but he actually got stuck in traffic. So that's the one issue you've got with this early pit stop strategy is whether you get into traffic. But it looks like it's clear ahead, Hampstead and Brookman. We'll keep our eye on what Madison Down does. He might pit this lap, and he's into the lane right now, as is Brad Ryan.
Well, I'm really shocked that these guys are coming in so early. No doubt they've done their testing and they know what their car setups are like, but you would have thought even these guys would go to at least the halfway mark of this race, about lap 15, just so they've got a pretty even, car set for the whole race. But these guys think that's probably the best way to go at the moment, and I think Madison's really coming in early just to sort of cover himself and be careful of where Renz and the Hammer sort of come out.
Yeah, but we saw guys earlier with, and again using Emerson to pit so late in the race and be able to capitalise on that by having a fresher set of tyres at the end of the race.
Hampstead and Brookman have got the jump on Down. Sorry.
No, you're right,
Jason. Well, actually, Down and Brookman are side by side coming through turn 2. Oh, and Brookman holds the position. So Down from first, he's back to third.
And someone who lost out a little bit on that was Brad Ryan. He's margin back to where from Down he's lost sort of a bit of time with those pit stops. So he may have gone for 4 tyres where the other guy's gone for 2. We're just not sure at this stage.
So Cal Watmore just being doing the right thing, letting this front pack go by. Of course, Renz Brookman leading this little battle with he and Madison Down at the moment.
Dale Richards actually leads the race now from John Emerson.
Well, again, both Richards and Emerson, the TTL boys, guaranteed that they'll both lead their run till later in this race. 10 laps now down, and 20 to go. So
Ron Kelly's in the lane, so he'll end his battle with Mitchell McLeod.
As you guys suggested earlier, Emerson was certainly getting a bit of a drag along from Richards, but they seem to have. Well, Richards in fact has tried to stretch the lead over Emerson as well. 1.7 seconds of difference there between them. In the lane, Sean Kelly as well. Simon Black, Cal Watmore. All these guys in the pits at lap 10.
Geez, I'm really surprised about this early strategy. I guess that That's why I'm in the commentary box and not on the racetrack. But I would have thought at least sort of probably around the lap 15 mark that these guys would have been thinking about tyres. But it'll be interesting to see how this all works out. But it certainly worked in the Hammer's fortune because at the moment, although the pit stops have still got to play out for the rest of the field, he's our leader at this stage once all this gets sorted out.
Yeah, now the thing that those guys have to do, as Madison said earlier, you've got about 5 laps where your tyres are really, really good, and then after that it evens out, it plateaus out. So the guys that are still out on track, they need to go for as long as they can and use those 5 laps when the other guys have nothing left in their tyres at all.
Yeah,
behind Madison, sorry, Brad Ryan's just spun Justin Bright around. Not sure how that happened, but a little bit of a touch there from Ryan.
Yeah, it just looked like he got on the throttle coming out of that hairpin and unfortunately caught the back,
on the track too,
and round he goes.
Bright was stuck on the track there.
Get a bit of front end damage has Bright.
He hit the tyre barrier after he spun it around, so sure Brad Ryan wouldn't have meant that. So go back to this battle pack with Down and Brookman.
Having a quick look at those times, let's, we're talking about that tyre advantage. Last lap round, Hampstead did a 38.204, and Val Riches is our current leader at this stage, a 39.314. So definitely giving up some tyre life at this stage, but might play out nicely as we saw that John Emerson had a nice run in the earlier race towards the end.
Still yet to pit, of course, Samuel Collins, Robert Hartley and Michael Fabian. They're running Ps 4, 5 and 6 at the moment. Still having a great battle amongst themselves. In fact, Hartley all over the back of Collins at this stage. And they've been locked together from lap 1.
Yeah, they didn't start too far apart on the grid either. A couple of positions between them, P9 and P12, so they're diagonally across from each other, and they've basically been nose to tail the whole way. Now Sean Kelly's come back into the lane again. Not sure why.
Nice little battle here heating up between Renz Brookman and Madison Down. Madison really keen to get the job done. Have a look up the inside. He'll get under brakes. Can he get the job done? No, he just thinks better of it. Brookman holds his line, but these guys really battling it out. They know that they can see the Hammer slowly starting to pull away, and they can't afford to battle too much.
Yeah, you can almost see Hammer smiling in the mirror. Renz will be able to see it looking into Hampstead's mirror. Oh! Down. How did he hold that?
Madison is throwing everything at the back of Renz Brookman, I can tell you. And you're right, Hammer's up there just put the head down. I mean, he's only got 0.2 of a second lead. I beg your pardon, he's got 2 seconds lead. There's 0.2 between Brookman and Down.
Yeah, the thing that works in his favour, he can sort of just worry about sort of hitting his marks. He doesn't have to worry about someone creeping around in his rear-view mirror. But that's what Renz has got. He's got the dramas of Madison Down, who's pretty hungry to get the job done. And you can see it in the car movement that he's got. The car's real aggressive, getting down the power, and he's just got to be careful not get to that rear tyres onto the grass.
Well, aggressive.
Here he goes. He'll get a move done here.
Aggressive is definitely what he's doing. Yeah, he gets it. Renz certainly concedes the spot for the moment because he knows that Madison has used a lot of the energy up from those rear tyres. He's stepped the thing out, he's been aggressive, it's got loose on him, and ultimately down the track, hopefully this isn't going to cost him a little bit.
Yeah, we're not even halfway, boys. We've spoken about these guys who've got the tyres on. They have to make it run the rest of the distance. We're lap 12 of 30, so they can't afford to overheat those tyres and wear out the good bits of rubber off them because it'll hurt them in the end.
And that's going to play into Vale Riches and John Emerson's hands. If these guys fight too hard, we could end up seeing a TTL 1-2-3 because they'll come through the field at the end of the race. And Down and Brookman will have nothing left.
Yep, you're not wrong. I think if I was on track, I'd like to be still out there on the older tyres and pit with those fresher ones later, but we'll see how it all plays out. But we've got a couple more pit stops coming through. Samuel Collins is in the lane.
Yeah, Rob Hartley as well have come in at the same time, and Hartley's going to jump Collins in the lane. Big jump.
Yeah, that was a nice jump.
So we will see that battle continue once that they get back out on track. That battle will definitely resume.
And they've actually come back out with the guys they were battling with before the pit stops as well. Simon Black, Wayne Tolley, Dave Hingston, all in that battle pack before.
So the two TTL cars up front yet to pit here on lap 13 we see. So, you know, Sandman, whether they play into the hands of, you know, pitting at that 15 or 18 lap mark. We're having a look at Richard Hampstead.
Not many drivers left in the field yet to do a pit stop. They're back in the field a little bit. We've got Cohen May for ANZ Motorsports and Corey Slade for xsimgear.com.au Motorsport.
Well, Sam, sorry, beg your pardon. Sam, you were talking about Rent's doing some mathematical equations, I think it was, or it might have been you, Jay, sorry. But you can guarantee that's what he's doing now. He's just backed off and let Madison down. You know, he's used a fair bit of that tyre chasing him, and now that he's got around him, he's also using a fair bit of that tyre to try and gap him. So I can see Brookman just doing those sums in his head, not letting him get too far away, but letting him get far away enough that he can jump on him a little later in this race.
Also, one thing when you let a driver past as well, you sort of want to give yourself a little bit of a gap if you're not going to battle with him. It gives you a little bit more perspective on the road. You see the apex is a bit easier. He'll be plotting something in his head. So watch for Rens to come home hard at the end of this race, but it's still playing all out into Hampstead, Rich's and Emerson's hands here the way this race is unfolding. Wade's managed to get past Carwin May. They move Slade up into 11th position. Of course, a few guys still yet to pit. Collins now fighting his way back after losing a bit of time in the pit stops. Managed to get ahead of Abril.
Up front, the two DTL boys neglect to choose the pit lane. So staying out there, pushing the envelope on these opening tyres that they used.
We've got Sam Collins, he's on a charge. He's just got another position.
We spoke about how hard it was to pass around here, but there seems to be a fair bit of shuffling going on.
Yeah, the one thing I like with Samuel Collins, he's not long come from that pit stop, so he's obviously really happy with the way the car is, especially on fresh tyres. Probably kicking himself, he lost a bit of ground to Robert Hartley in those pit stops, but definitely got the pace here.
Now Hartley's a little bit ahead of him, but I don't think it'll be too long and we'll see those guys battling again. Collins definitely looks racy. He looks like he's got some good pace in that car. Now have a look at how close Brookman is to down again. Back under half a second again, or around half a second.
I think the smart thing was for Rens is that he saw that that Madison was a bit pacey and wanted to sort of race a little bit harder than he did, so probably just moved over, let Madison have the position, and I think Rens just looking after his stuff. He knows that we're sort of approached the halfway mark now, still 15 laps to go, and if they want to be a contender at the end of this race, they really need to look after what's underneath them.
The front two guys about to cross the line at the halfway point, and Vale Riches is coming in. The race leader into the lane at the exact halfway point of the race.
Emerson stays out. He'll take over leading this race at this stage, but interesting move. Richie's in, and of course teammate Emerson, he'll stay out for another one.
Interesting to see what Riches does in his stop too, whether he takes 4 tyres, 2 tyres, no tyres, whether he'll fill up to just get home or whether he'll put enough fuel in there that he can go hard. So the good thing about going the middle pit stop is you open up every single possibility for strategy. So one advantage he's got where he is. Sorry, Jason.
Just over halfway, boys. Lap 16, of course, for Emerson in the lead. And boy, have a look back. You know, you got Hampstead down, Brookman, Ryan, effectively that are all on the charge. So the moment Emerson goes in, I mean, we're still yet to see McLeod in. But as soon as we see them, it's game on for the remaining laps, no doubt about it.
And the one thing I just watched Iracing stop, Vale's probably come out in 7th place, probably finds himself probably a good 25, 30 seconds maybe behind Emerson, who's yet to pit yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this is all going to play out, and is that margin too much for these guys to peek back?
He's come out behind Brad Ryan. Rob Hartley gets past Carwood May. Carwood May, as if he's struggling a little bit, he's losing a little bit of time through the field. I actually don't know if Carwood's pitted it yet. If I can get that confirmed. Carwood May's a driver that we've seen in the past. He can do a million laps on no fuel. So Carwood could actually be doing this race as a no pit stop race.
Oh, that's something we haven't really thought about, is it? That someone could make their fuel stretch, but well,
I don't think it's going to work for him.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of an ask, but interesting thought though.
The Emerson continues on. Got a 10-second lead back to McLeod. Then it's Hampstead 17 seconds behind. And down Brookman, Ryan, Riches, McMullen, Aloma and Slade, the top 10. A few guys still yet to do their pit stops though.
Now, I think Madison Down and Renz Brookman are actually starting to close the gap, now down to 1.6 seconds between them and Richard Hampstead in P3. So while Renz is trying to stick and stay on the tail of Madison Down is in fact starting to close that gap a little on Hammer.
Yeah, it actually looks closer as well visually. Like you can actually see that it looks a little bit closer, but Brookman now right up behind Down. You can see that gap's closed right up now.
Interesting to see. You wouldn't think it'd be too many more laps that Emerson and McLeod would stay out, because they are really sort of giving up a fair bit of time on the rest of the pack. But it'd be interesting to see if Emerson picks this time round.
He's not coming in. Wow.
Fooled you.
Didn't he? What? 39.5 that time around. So you're right, Sam. And they are giving up a lot of time. If we have a look back to Hammer's last lap, 38.9. So it's a good second a lap.
Yeah, the thing they've got to worry about is that the longer they stay out, yes, they're going to have fresher tyres, but they're going to have less time to catch these guys. We're sort of lap 17 or 18 now of 30 laps, so the guys have got 12 or 13 laps to go, and they really need to, although they have the fresh tyres, they don't want to leave that charge too late.
Great point, Sam. Fantastic point that you raise. So Wayne Tolley, he's got a good battle going on with, I think in front of him, Simon Black there. So that's for 15 and 16 effectively at this stage.
And Dave Hingston not far behind as well. Hingo's quite an accomplished driver in this series. Doing a good job. Very consistent in his positions there, Hingo. So you see him out on track in the top split pretty much every week.
Hingo had some good racing last week from memory. Was mixed in a couple of good battles.
Oh, this battle's really heating up, with Black and Tolley.
Oh, Hingo's going to get involved now too.
Geez, that's hold your breath stuff through there, isn't it, boys?
Good move by Tolley.
Hasn't
Black's really starting?
Hingston really closed the gap into that hairpin there a moment ago, but yeah, the boys are going hard at it for P15, 16 and 17.
Now, while I interrupt, sorry boys, John Emerson's in the pit lane now, so he's decided to come in, but surprisingly, Mitchell McLeod has stayed out, so he's decided to go a little bit longer, lap 19 to 30.
I think this might actually be the first time that Mitch McLeod's led a lap this season. Beau Riches is a man on a move. They're gaining quite a lot of time every lap, about a second to 2 seconds a lap quicker than the guys ahead. So you'll be closing up on the back of Brad Ryan very, very quickly.
Yeah, speaking of pit stops with Richie's, he was saying Richie's is on the move, but he's actually got a huge margin over Emerson, who decided to stay out a little bit longer. That gap is probably sort of 3, 4, 5 seconds maybe. We'll see when they cross the line, but John Emerson's given up a lot of ground, staying out longer on those older tyres.
That's all now played into Richard Hampstead's hands, although Madison Down has closed that gap down to under a second for the lead now. Race is heating up, boys.
Oh, you're not wrong, and this is where the tyres are going to really play a big part. These guys all pitted on lap, sort of 8 and 9, and they know what they've got underneath them, but they really need to make sure that they can go the distance.
Sam Collins, as I said before, he's actually caught back up to Robert Hartley again, so these guys are going to continue with their battle that they've had all race long.
How good is this? We've monitored this race right from the get-go, and the boys got separated there, especially in the pit stop with, was it Collins or Hartley that got the jump?
Yeah, Hartley got the jump, yeah.
Hartley got the jump, and of course now Samuel Collins has closed that deficit, and the battle is resuming.
Yeah, while we watch that, we've got McLeod, who's decided to give it up and come into the pit lane, so we'll start to really get a good feel on this order now, because I think that's pretty much everyone who's made their pit stops, I think.
Pretty much everyone. I think McMullen's the only driver yet to do a pit stop, and Carwood May, as we said, he more than likely try and go all the way without fuel.
Well, 10 laps remaining here at Oulton Park.
And sorry, Carwood May, Mitch Averill, Wayne Tolley, all side by side coming out of the final corner. Got a little bit messy there.
Well, the boys have got their composure, but you can be guaranteed that that battle between those three isn't over. Averill, Tolley and May. Of course, just back from them, Black and Hingston also trying to pick up a few spots. Black currently 16th, Hingston 17th. So now that Mitchell McLeod is in the pits, well, in fact, he's finished his stop, but now that we've seen him pit, effectively the order is Hampstead down, Brookman, Ryan, Riches, Emerson, then back down from there. Yep.
And then we Slade, Hartley and Collins, so Hartley and Collins are actually battling for the last two spots in the top 10 at the moment, so that's a good battle for those guys, but the lead for Hampstead is now half a second.
Yeah, I was just having a look at that. Looks like Brookman's just starting to fall off a little bit. 2/10 here, 2/10 there, and it's really at the moment it's a Hampstead down battle. But maybe Brookman's just thinking, well, if these guys battle it out real hard and use up their tyres, maybe he can pounce. The guys are slowly running out of laps. We're about 9 laps to go in this race.
Well, Mitchell McLeod was leading. He's now rejoined the race and is sitting in 8th at the moment in the Tats.com Ford. So he's got Marlin in front of him, Mick Mullen, and then of course effectively he'll tag and slot in behind John Emerson.
Geez, I tell you what, boys, out of this front three cars, it's Madison Down, the quickest of the lot. Last time round 39.1, our race leader did a 39.4, and Renz Brookman did a 39.3. So Down really on the charge here at this pace.
Of course, race record around here at Oulton Park is 1:37.59, and that's held by John Emerson. So I don't know if we've seen a 37.5 as yet, have we?
Yeah, Hampstead broke that record in the second lap of the race, so 1:37.593. Emerson's the fastest driver on track at the moment, as you'd expect, but he's lapping almost 2.5 seconds quicker than these guys out on track at the moment. Hampstead just pulls out a pretty good lap. Got a good bit of drive out of the final corner.
Boys, it's going to be interesting to watch John Emerson's lap times. 37.661 that last lap, 37.8 flat on that lap, because he's going to be trying to use every bit of the tyre that he's got under the rear of this car.
And Robert Hartley and Sam Collins have now tagged onto the back of Corey Slade. This is effectively 8th, 9th and 10th, so this is the back end of the top 10.
Haven't they done well? I mean, Collins and Hartley have come from back around 17th, I think, to be up, now hassling Corey Slade. He's going to try and make a move, I think.
Hard to go too wide here as well. Slade will keep the spot, even though he's...
nice job! Collins holding on to it. He was really lucky not to fire that thing into the fence.
Well, now the game plan has changed for Hartley. Hartley was more just trying to defend his position from Collins. He'll take a sigh of relief now that Collins has dropped back and try and focus on Slade.
Here comes Hartley.
Contact!
Oh,
Slade gone round. He got contact in the door. Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, look, he's going to be disappointed, Corey. Corey's going to be pretty disappointed with that.
A little bit too much commitment, and Hartley actually moves over and lets Slade back through, so that's really, really good sportsmanship from Rob Hartley there. He made a mistake, gives up the position that he's gained.
Yeah, you see on the replay, he's just gone in too deep. He's deep and he's fired it onto the grass to try and miss Corey, but unfortunately he's just come up and tagged him in the door, so bad luck there.
Corey actually saw it coming too. He actually went a little bit wider to hopefully avoid it, but one of those incidents that were unavoidable. Unlucky for both those guys. They're having a good battle and looking for a really good result, so I know both those guys will be fairly disappointed.
Well, the pace up front, boys, is 139.34 from Hampstead last lap, 139.6 from Madison Down, and a 139.9 from Renz Brookman.
The Hampstead's definitely responded to the aggression from Down. Maybe Down's got nothing left now. He can't hold on.
Yeah, that's always the biggest fear, isn't it? When you start running and putting the pressure on some of these guys, that you use up your equipment a little bit too much, and maybe he's just used the better part of his tyres, and that could be the last charge. But also you can sort of back off a little bit and trying to get these tyres to normalise a little bit, and may work in his favour. But who knows? Maybe the damage is done.
Well, I don't know if you're any good at mathematics, Sam, man, but actually I think Jay's probably our mathematician, isn't he?
Yep. I got the calculator.
138.1 from Emerson on the freshest set of tyres, apart from Mitch McLeod's, but I guess the most threatening freshest set of tyres out there on track at the moment. 38.14 from Emerson, and we see from up front with Richard Hampstead that last lap was, and actually let's update this one, 139.4. So he's giving away 1.3 seconds.
Not enough time left in the race, unfortunately, I don't think. Oh, it's actually pretty close. Punch the numbers.
As our mathematician.
I'm getting an ice cream headache. Hang on, boys.
he's hedged his bets on black and red just then.
I'll just bet on 0, please.
So the margin that Val Riches has got himself, he's in 5th position, but he finds himself 8.5 seconds back. So he really needs to make the move. He's got 6 laps to get the job done. So Jay, I'll let you crunch those numbers, mate, and you can tell us how it's all going to pan out.
Yeah, gain another second on that lap, Emerson, so I don't think there's going to be enough time left in the race, but if he could get past the other drivers really, really easily, he could actually get at least a podium.
Do you think Bales can let him by?
I'm pretty sure he will. Judging from the earlier race tonight, he didn't make it that hard for Emerson to get past him. I wouldn't think he'd make it too much of a trouble this race as well. But who knows?
Well, of course, we see Emerson in 6. In front of him, teammate Val Riches in 5. And of course, then the eyes will be set upon Brad Ryan, who's currently running in 4th. And he's running about 1.1 seconds slower than the oncoming assault from behind.
Tell you what, just having a look at Val Riches. He's just given the position there. A nice bit of swab in there. Good team driving. You could see Emerson was the faster of the two, and just didn't hold Emerson up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Emerson can really put on a bit of a charge and see what he can do towards the end of this race. Finds himself 8.6 seconds off the lead of Richard Hampstead.
Of course, there's no issues with team orders in this series. They're completely legal team orders. Now Slade is under attack from Watmore. Watmore's got fresher tyres than Slade, and Slade also have that spin around, so that's put extra heat in the tyres, extra pressure on the tyres. They'll be struggling for grip, although Watmore's not coping that well for grip either. Slade's gone a little bit deep. Oh, this is dangerous side by side here over the finish line.
Yeah, Cal's going to have the job done. He's got the inside move there for the next turn, so just gets the job done. Nice bit of driving, but fortunately for Corey, you know, got caught up in that incident a couple of laps back and finds himself sort of back in 16th position now.
Yeah, disappointing for Corey. He was keeping his nose out of trouble, and I think what was up to about 10th. So, as they do, battle on, I guess.
And how things have changed, you know, not too many laps ago we were talking about Madison having a real quick charge on Hampstead. Hampstead got himself a 1.3 second margin now over Down, so he's got a nice little cushion there.
Yeah, and Brookman's actually caught up to Down now as well. Mitch Avril in the Easy Works Lazy Man Racing entry. Having a little bit of a battle with TTR's Wayne Tolley.
Yeah, going by the timesheets, Tolley's about 3 or 4 tenths quicker last lap round, so he's got a bit of pace on his side, but slowly running out of laps. He needs to get the that margin closed up, but like we always say, you know, catching's one thing, passing's another.
Especially at this track too, it's the hardest. I think we say it every week, it's the hardest track to pass on, but I think this actually is, because the passing opportunities are parts of the track where you can't even go too wide, so really, really tough track, this one.
I don't know, you know, whether people will realise, but there's actually 17 turns, 17 corners here at Oulton Park, so it's a very demanding one.
Brookman just had a massive moment into the second chicane. He almost spit it straight into the tyre barrier. That'll cost him a little bit of time there. Under brakes, locked it up. Almost shot it straight into the tyre barrier. He did a really good job to hold on, but dropped a lot of time back from Down.
Yeah, you'll take that small sacrifice, although he wouldn't have been happy with it. You'll take that sacrifice of losing a bit of time than either firing it into the tyre barrier, because that could have been night over. So unfortunate, but a nice bit of driving the same there to gather it all up.
Interesting, boys. Brad Ryan is lapping quicker than Renz. So excluding that little off that he had the lap prior to that, he was.
Down's off into the grass. Down's just run really wide at the exit of turn 1, and he's off onto the AstroTurf, almost into the fence.
It looks like he's got his hands full with these tyres. Like we said, the guys came in on lap 8, so they've definitely gone past their use by date, and Down looks like he's struggling a little bit with tyres.
Hampstead's now, it's his race to lose now. He's got to just maintain control of his car and lap at the same sort of pace that he's got now. He shouldn't have too many troubles.
Emerson is starting to get on the back of Brad Ryan, so we just saw problems with the grip level from a couple of the guys up front, and Emerson, I don't think, having any such problem. Lap 139.1 on lap 26, and now he's got Brad Ryan, beg pardon, in his sides.
Yeah, Ryan right on cue, just struggles under brakes at the chicane. And Emerson now is close enough to attack.
He's definitely noticed that he's got pace towards the end of this race. I think, unfortunately, he's just left his charge a little bit too late to chase down and harass the leaders. But he'll definitely pick off Brad Ryan, you'd think. He's a second a lap quicker. And the way that we saw the movement around for Brad Ryan with him struggling with rears, you think he'll pick him off, no worries.
I agree with Sam. I think he left his run probably 1 or 2 laps. He certainly wouldn't have wanted to go in any earlier, but yeah, I think it's 1 or 2 laps that he's left his run short by.
Looking back to Cal Watmore, Corey Slade still having their battle, and Aleski Aloma caught onto the back of these guys. So now it's a 3-way battle for 15th position.
Yeah, this battle is really picking up now between Brad Ryan and John Emerson. Last lap round, Emerson did a 38.9 and Brad Ryan did a 40.1, so you can really see that Emerson's going to pounce right now.
I think it'll be this chicane here.
Interesting note, talking of those lap times, Ren's Brookman 140.2. So, yeah, the boys at 140.0 for Madison Down last lap. And Hampstead 139.7. These TTL boys, they've got some good tyre conservation here.
Ryan defending his line, sorry, the alternate line. I've been waiting to say that all race. I'm glad that saying's the good one that's caught on. Everyone uses it now, so I'm very proud of that one. Oh, Emerson, a bit of a moment.
Yeah, really trying to get the power on. He knows he's got the tyre grip advantage over Brad Ryan, but doesn't help when you put the throttle down and get sideways. But and he's running out of laps too. He knows when he crosses the line this time by, there'll only be 2 laps to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, a saying that I've been dying to use. Emerson now. Has he got enough in it to get up? No, he doesn't. I've been dying to use the saying, Emerson driving like a soccer mum that's running late for the grand final.
Nice.
That's a good one.
I don't know what's more impressive than Emerson's big yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That's
good one.
That's a good one. Nice one.
I like it.
I've got plenty more. I'm slowly moving into the seat, as you know, boys.
Just tick that one off your list. Well, I think that's as good as Muggo dropping song titles all race. I think that was one of our highlights we've had.
I look at Brad Ryan, John Emerson, these guys still battling it out. Sorry, Jace.
No, I was just about to say, like driving like a bat out of hell, or...
Oh, no, it was way worse than that. I don't even know, but he got Love Shack in there somehow.
Now, that's something that's totally random, isn't it? Oh. Trying to associate the Love Shack and motor racing.
Here comes Emerson. Ryan still using that alternate line. Emerson goes to the outside. Over and under, maybe. Not going to be close enough.
Just Brad's doing a really good job of just holding his line too, isn't he? You know, he's definitely entitled to do it this point, especially this point of the race. The guy's got about a lap and a half to go, and Brad's doing a really good job. As that car really moving around, he's got John and Emerson really sticking the nose right there, and I think he might even have a try. If he gets a good run out of this turn, he'll have a look up the inside, but Brad Ryan looking to cover his line.
Using the alternate line.
Oh, so he goes to the outside! Oh, holding your breath there, boys. I tell you, Brad Ryan and John Emerson side by side. Emerson really sideways out of that turn, but now he's only got one more lap to get the job done.
Well, the distance around this track's 4.33 Ks. I reckon for Emerson then it was about 4.5.
Just to go around Brad, yeah. Last lap. Hampstead's got it all under control out in front. Then it's down in Brookman. Ryan and Emerson. Was Brad Ryan, John Emerson, former teammates in the Lazy Man Racing team a couple of seasons ago.
Madison Downs really got some traction issues, so the car getting very loose. But I don't think Renz has got enough.
Brookman's struggling with the same things, just in different areas of the track. So that Brookman nice and sideways through the middle part of the corner and down sideways through the exit of the corner. Here comes Emerson on Ryan. Ryan defending, using the alternate line again. Been a great race all this race, guys. This has been a race of the season so far.
They're not wrong. Hampstead's driven a great race. Got himself 3.5 seconds now over Madison Down. Had that early pit stop. I didn't think at the time it was probably the right thing to do, but he definitely knew what sort of car he had underneath him. He did the job. He'd done a great race. Didn't do anything wrong, but Richard Hampstead will win here at Oulton Park for round 6.
Yeah, fantastic drive. Great strategy by the guys at TTL. Down in second, Brookman third. Ryan just holds on from Emerson in fourth position. Val Richards, great drive as well, finishes in sixth position. Seventh will be Mitchell McLeod. Samuel Collins, great drive. Very impressed with his drive tonight. Should finish in eighth position. Michael Fabian, a great driver as well, currently in 9th.
Well, you would have to say, boys, the That Sucks of the Day trophy would have to go to Corey Slade, currently back in 16th with Aleski Alomu right on his bumper.
Oh, Loma almost into the grass. Really struggling for rear tyre grip. I think he's going to throw it up the inside. Decides against it. Interesting, guys. Carwin May's just done a no-stopper. Fantastic.
Wow.
What a job.
That is amazing.
Yeah, Carl, he found himself, he started 21st in this race and ended up bringing it home for 12th place. So, yeah, great strategy on his behalf. We didn't think anyone would actually get the job done, but well done.
That's a fantastic effort. Like most of the guys up the front, we said the pit window opens lap 7, lap 8, because you get about 22, 23 laps out of a tank of fuel, and he's just done 30 laps. Amazing effort.
Yeah, no, fantastic effort indeed. Well, boys, what a round of racing, hey? Hampstead down, Brookman, Ryan, Emerson, Richards, McLeod, Collins, Fabian, Abril, Tolley, May, Hingston, Black, Watmore, Slade, Aloma, McMullen, Brooks, Hartley, Raphael, of course, Richard. How do you go with Richard's last name?
Stamanovic.
Alrighty. Christopher Osborne, Sean Kelly, and Justin Bright, of course, was an early casualty. But my God, what a fantastic race!
It's funny, we spoke at the start, I put my money on Hampstead, but it sort of wasn't looking all that way because Down had a really strong charge. He was keen to get past Brookman when the pit stops all started to filter through. And when he had that charge on Hampstead, we thought maybe that Down was going to really take it to him. But, that margin towards the end there, I think Hampstead got it out to just over 4 seconds in the end. So great driving by Hampstead.
Yeah, definitely one of his best drives in a long time. Hampstead, he should be very, very happy. I'm sure he will be when he comes and joins us soon. We got our first driver joining us, Brad Ryan. 4th position tonight, mate. You'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, podium was there, but awesome battle with John all week. It's been going all week, and it just shows how close it is just then.
I was about to say you'd be happier, not that you got 4th, that you beat Emerson. I think that's all you were trying to do all week.
Yeah, I seen after the pits, I was like, yes, he's 11 seconds down, and then all of a sudden he was right on my tail, and I had nothing left, I was shot, so just defended as hard as I could, and I can race Emerson all day, he's not going to take you out, so awesome stuff.
Spectacular racing, Brad, especially in those dying stages. Really close, and as you said, respectful racing in the regard. That you can race door to door with him all day and not have a problem. How much pressure was he applying from inside the car?
It wasn't really track pressure. It was just more pressure in that I knew I had bad tyres. He had good tyres, but it wasn't so much he was trying to go for a dive or anything. It was just the mental game, but. Yeah, it's just a lot of pressure and I had nothing at all. But yeah, it's pretty hard to overtake around here, which is lucky for me.
You had a good build-up to this round, didn't you, mate? You chalked up a win through the week and your times were pretty good. So I think you'd be fairly happy with your results tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's couldn't work with John this week, who I sort of do, or John Latham, I do a bit of setup work with. But just tried hard all week, and I could have had Renz, I reckon. I had him last night, but yeah, he did something overnight with the setup, and he just was too good. But also, well done to Richard and Mad. They drove awesome as well.
Speaking of Richard, we might go to him. Pretty happy tonight with your win, Richard?
Yep, I'm very happy with that. I really wasn't expecting that, after quali and stuff. Almost got past Matt at the start, but yeah, he just held around the outside, so I thought I was done then. Pitted a lap before him, which popped me out, I think, about 2 seconds in front when he pitted, which was, that was great. It really helped me just conserve my tyres, and yeah, he closed in on me, a fair bit at the end, but I don't know, mid-race, I mean. But at the end, I don't know, he sort of dropped back a bit. I was struggling at the end. I had to start fuel saving too because I didn't have quite enough to get home, but yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed that.
It was a good race, mate. We put our money on you coming into the night, and then you definitely had us worried there halfway through the race when Madison had his attack. But was it always the plan to come in? We thought probably lap 8 was a bit early, but was that always the plan, or was that just a bit of strategy to take on down when you saw him in front of you?
Yeah, I had a few different strategies planned out, depending on a few different scenarios. So, yeah, if Mad was in front, the plan was always to pit as early as I could, unless he did.
One thing we were talking about in the race, your team seemed to have the strategy all worked out, whether it was early, mid, or late pit stops. It worked for all three of you, the drivers in the grid. Did that something you guys have worked on, making sure your race pace was good and the strategy would work either way?
Yeah, definitely. We've had a good look at race strategy last night and tonight, and yeah, we had a few different options.
That's consolidated your championship lead as well. We'd be pretty happy with that.
Yep, definitely. Couldn't complain. A couple of wins in the last couple of weeks, so we'll try to keep it going.
Yeah, we've got Madison down in Madison second place. I know you actually won't be very happy with that, but still second's better than a last.
Yeah, I kept having to tell myself that in the final laps as the tyres went away. It's better to finish second than end up in the fence. But yeah, getting good at finishing second. Would have been really nice to stand on the top step tonight, but yeah, Richard drove really well, and I was a little bit surprised to see him jump out of the pits in front of me though. That I wasn't expecting that. So I don't know what happened there. I'll have to go back and have a look at the data and whatnot and see what happened there. But well done, Richard, on the win.
Madison, three quarters through the race, you had a great battle with Renz there, and you looked like you were spending plenty of the budget trying to get by him. You end up getting around him. How good was that battle?
Yeah, the battle with Renz was really good. I was probably a little bit too aggressive around him, but I knew if I wanted to catch Richard, I had to clear Renz as quick as possible while I had the one lap tyre advantage, and I eventually got it done. But as Richard said, I started closing in on him in the mid part of the race, and then the tyres just went away. I was pushing them way past their limit for those 10 laps. So at the end, got close, but then had nothing to fight with and started falling back again. But anyway, good fun nonetheless.
We've got third place Renz Brookman also in with us. Renz, not the result we wanted, but still third, helped consolidate your position in the championship.
Well, yeah, definitely. But that was a really enjoyable race. Didn't expect to jump Madison out of the pits. A bit distracted with pit entry behind Richard. So I thought I lost quite some time there, but yeah. Other than that, it was fun. Couldn't hold him back. He had just too much pace, and he had a run on me, so not much point in blocking with 18 laps to go.
You were talking about pit stop with Richard, mate. Was it always a plan to pit in, or you saw Richard jump and you thought you'd go with him? What was the plan for you for the start of the race?
Well, I was actually trying to pit around lap 10, but I saw Richard go and followed him in actually, and yeah, sort of worked. But
Renz, championship-wise, it's been a good night. I mean, Richard's obviously extended his lead, his grasp on the championship, but no Justin Rogier tonight, no Josh Muggleton, and no Scotty McLaughlin. So those three guys are the boys that you are surrounded with in the championship. Good night for second in that regard, though.
Yeah. But they can always use this week as a drop week, so it doesn't say everything.
No, but it certainly banks
to grab the points if possible.
Yeah, certainly bank some good points for you, even if they choose to use these as drop rounds, as I'm sure they will. It's still banking good points of second for you.
Yeah, definitely. The points are always welcome, and even though they can use this as a drop week, they had some bad weeks already, so not looking too bad.
And next week off to Twin Ring Motegi. Are you looking forward to that, Renz?
Yeah, it's a fun track. I haven't raced there with you guys yet, so bit of an unknown so far.
What about
But looking forward to
Madison?
it, definitely.
Madison and Richard, you guys looking forward to Motegi?
Nope.
Yeah, I am. I had a good round there last season. That's where I turned around the season, last time round. So I'm hoping I can do the same again there this season.
I think what the boys were saying a little earlier, that Motegi's probably a good teams track, in that if you've got a team that's close to you, it's good for streaming and for getting that drafting happening.
I think this season it won't be so much because they've brought in a lot of aero push into the aero model, so I don't think that would be much of an advantage.
Yeah, it's not a bad track for the whole drafting thing. The passing opportunities there are a lot better than Oulton Park, so hopefully it's not so frustrating when you're behind people. But the racing was there good there last season, so should be good again.
Yeah, Brad, you looking forward to it next week as well?
Why not?
Okay. Why not? Great answer. I love it.
It's a good track. It's not too hard to learn, but I just can't be bothered doing it all over again after putting in a lot of effort this week.
It's also a pretty long race next week as well, 30 laps, so it's definitely going to be a psychological race next week as well.
It's a good lead up to the horrible track that Spa is.
Don't say that, Madison will cry.
Actually, looking towards the end of the season. Sorry, looking towards the end of the season. We're halfway through now, but we've got Motegi, Spa, Oran Park, Mosport, Zandervoort, and Brands Hatch. Of those, and I guess I'll start with you, Hammer, because you're the winner of tonight. But what's your choice of those rounds?
I really like Brands Hatch. This is a track I've always enjoyed driving around there, and I've had a bit of success there in the past. I don't think I haven't won there for the last 2 seasons, but I've always enjoyed racing there. So, yeah, it's probably what I'm looking forward to the most.
Madison?
I always like Spa coming up in the calendar. So Spa's a good track. Oran Park's good. Hopefully we can get to Oran Park, but I think it's on a bit of a bad date off memory. So it's a little bit frustrating.
New Year's Eve, the Monday night race. I don't think there'll be too many here.
Yeah.
I'll be racing off the track.
We're doing different sort of racing. What are you looking forward to, Brad?
Well, I think I got Spa, and then I'm actually going over to New Zealand for a month, so miss my favourite tracks, but oh well.
What about yourself, Friends? I think I can answer for you. Renz is looking forward to Zandvoort.
Yeah, and Spa, definitely.
And Spa.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite tracks.
Thanks heaps for joining us, guys. Great race tonight, one of the best of the season. So thanks heaps for putting on a great show for everyone tonight.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
My pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
My bank account details of this if you want to put some money in.
Oh, you're funny, Brad. Sam, man, thanks for tonight. Great race.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, brilliant race as always. The guys really put on a show, and always love seeing pit stops. It really does mix things up a little bit. And mate, bring on Twin Ring Motegi. I can't wait.
And thanks, Jason.
Pleasure, boys. Fantastic. Another fantastic night of racing, and definitely looking forward to next week now. I think I say that every week.
I think I do too. Next week will actually be our final broadcast for 2012. Before we have a break over Christmas, New Year. So next week, Twin Ring Motegi. It'll be an endurance race, 30 laps. So it'll be a nice long race at Motegi. It should be one of the best tracks, newer tracks as well, the Iracing calendar. But you've been watching round 6 of the Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series from Oulton Park, presented by Bigpond Sport, Extreme Sim Gear, and Direct Clutch Services. Your winner for round 6, Richard Hampstead.